What's going on, guys? Another day, another dollar. We're just going to go ahead and look over some stock analysis of Tesla, some of the things that are coming up this week and as of next, and some of the things to look out for, potentially ways to profit, and just doing a quick video. I know I've been making some long ones, so let's get to it. So recently, we look like we are tracking this all-time high of 489. Now, we did get all the way up to 477 the other day. Or 470, my apologies. That was Thursday. That was the day after the incentive was cut. So we had a little pump and dump, looking like we also have an engulfing candle, an engulfing red candle. This is a bearish sign, at least just for the short term, but we shall see moving forward. Today was a nice, strong buyback day. We moved up 5.5%. And the day previous, or the trading day previous, meaning that Friday, looks like it did bounce off that 418. 418 is a significant price because it was our previous high right over here. Well, it was about 414, but it was about close enough. And that was before we broke out to that 488. And it looks like we are on track to potentially break it. But let me go ahead and throw some of my food for thoughts. All right. So the incentive ending, right? The incentive ended on Thursday or on Wednesday of last week. We saw that significant drop on the following day. That's $7,500 that a lot of people, it helped a lot of people, right? I was in the market looking for a Tesla, and that was the main thing that pushed me, is that it was going to end soon, right? And it's $7,500 on a car that is not cheap, right? They're not cheap. They do help, especially if you have a house. That's the only thing. I do think Teslas are smart purchases if you do own a home or have some sort of way to get cheap charging. That's the whole thing, right? It's to be green, not have to do your own emissions or go to the pump. The pump is pretty expensive, but if you're sitting at superchargers all day long, it can get a little costly too. Not as costly as petroleum, but it can get up there. But getting back to this, whoa, sorry for the earthquake. My dog just rattled the entire desk. But tomorrow we have some big news where they are potentially dropping information on the new model, not knowing what it is, but many are speculating that it is the smaller Y. That should at least help some sales in the short to mid term. Taking people's pocket or price purchases, taking people's purchase power away from them with that $7,500 with the government subsidy is significant enough to make people want to buy, if they are in the market for a car, buy a cheaper version of whatever they are looking to buy. Tesla is all about the technology, right? If you have that iPad in the middle, you can go ahead and use your phone as your key. You can look at everything on your phone. You can see all the cameras from your phone. You can do FSD. Really cool cars, right? And so a lot of people don't really care about the space, the aesthetic, as much as they do about the technology. Now, it really depends on the consumer, but that's what I'm seeing that are at least my prediction of where the short-term buyers are going to be buying these Ys. Especially with Robotaxi coming out, you might start seeing investors start to buy these cars. But I think there is going to be some time before that happens. But something with Tesla, as soon as there's one thing that gets taken away, they have something else to go ahead and back it up to continue to at least push a little bit of good news. So without a doubt, I do think that the stock is going to come back down, especially with this engulfing candle. And I'm not saying that it's going to come crashing down to this level, but I do see a little bit of just consolidation for this pretty epic of a run. And this run was just primarily brought to you by Donald Trump himself in his election. And this is just kind of saying, it's midterm, not midterm, but, we're a year into President Trump's reign, and we have almost gotten back to where it potentially was, but we haven't gotten past that 483 mark. Now, with the good news tomorrow, I can see this pushing up towards this level. I'm not saying it's going to get to 483 in a day, right? But we do have the government shutdown. Last government shutdown that was under Trump provided a lot of momentum. It kept the stocks going higher and higher, gave us a little bull rally, and we might continue to see that here going into next week. Now, next week, we do have earnings for Tesla, October 14th, but be on the lookout, right? Up until then, we might see a very positive reaction from the news of the new Y being dropped. There's a new Performance Y being dropped in December, and the Cybertruck is now being sold in Qatar, getting out to the Middle East. I do see that doing really well. So we do have a little bit of upside. But I think during earnings, it is a good time to pull your money, right? We're not going to see these numbers how we did before. The amount of deliveries that we have delivered just in this quarter alone, specifically due to the ending of that incentive, is substantial, and it's not to be overlooked. And with it going away, we might not see a quarter, at least from revenue from cars, like this in a long time. I don't know how long. I don't know how soon we can get other streams of revenue coming in. Obviously, we have solar, we have charging. Semis are being more in the works. Got Optimus, Robotaxi, diners now. Burgers. Like, we're making revenue in all sorts of different ways, but the short term is definitely going to be heavily affected with the investor scare of the cars. We're not going to see those numbers again. So next earnings, we're already dubbing that they're not going to be that high. So why would a stock's price stay that high? Unless there is news, right? And so that's what we're kind of seeing right here. Today was a little bit of bounce back, but it's just going to plow right through, I believe, right? It can do whatever it wants. But if it gets back to this range, we have a little nice cup and handle that might shoot back upwards, but we shall see. But I'm excited to see what tomorrow has in store for us. Kind of excited to see the new model. Just keep your eyes open for any news. I'll try to stay up on top of date, or on top of everything as much as I can. But yeah, guys, watch out for that earnings next week. But other than that, I hope you guys had a great day. Stay safe, make some smart decisions, and let's get this money together. All right, peace.